Okay, so we are talking about the only tech wearable that I bring on any of my trips. This right here is the Ring Air by Ultrahuman. Let's get right into it. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Desmond. I make content about tech and travel gear. And over the last couple of years, I have really stopped wearing tech wearables like the Apple Watch or Android watches or anything of that sort. I am someone who just likes to wear a classic timepiece. I find it a lot less distracting. And when I'm traveling, I just don't want to have to deal with another thing that I have to charge often. And that's where this comes into play. This is the Ring Air by Ultrahuman, and this now is the only wearable I bring with me when I travel. It is a tiny little ring. It is a sleep tracker. It tracks activity. It tracks skin temperature and oxygen levels. It's actually a pretty interesting tool, and I found the data to be really helpful for my lifestyle just because of how much I travel, how much I'm moving between different time zones around the world, and again, pretty essential to just everyday life. So let's talk about the Ultrahuman Ring Air. So again, it's pretty obvious this is a wearable tracker. It's really designed to help you with sleep and stress and activity. It's not designed like an Apple Watch. There's no notifications, there's no screen, there are no details or anything distracting on the ring itself. And if any of you out there are familiar with like the Oura rings and those other brands out there, it is a very similar concept. Now, one of the biggest differences between, say, an Oura Ring and the Ultrahuman is actually the monthly fee. So I will say I am not someone that is like that dedicated to the data where I want to pay a monthly fee just to track how well I'm sleeping or all of the other fitness or health data that these rings track. With the Ultrahuman, you just pay for the ring, which is $350, and then the app and all of the tracking is free forever. And I think that's probably a better option for me and my lifestyle. Like I said, I don't really care too much about the data, definitely not enough to pay a monthly subscription. So having something that I only have to buy once that still gives me really solid information is great. So let's walk through the ring. It's kind of hard to show because it's so small, but I'll do my best and I'll give you some B-roll of the ring close up. But you can see it is tiny, it's discreet. It actually looks like a real ring, and I wear it on my index finger, which I've been told is the best position for accurate tracking. What I have right here is the Space Silver. So again, it's got some shininess to it, which I really enjoy. It matches some of the jewelry and other accessories that I wear on myself, so it kind of blends into this entire situation really well. It's pretty lightweight. I think it's made from a combination of this silver paint job, but it's mostly plastic and electronic peripherals inside. The one thing I will say is, having used this for probably about a month or two now across the world, different time zones, lifting at the gym, I don't take this off when I'm lifting weights or doing exercise. This thing is held up incredibly well. It's kind of crazy how well this looks. I would expect, if this was some type of like metallic silver paint, for it to scratch off, but I've seen nothing of the sort. There are, of course, micro scratches that comes with any type of jewelry, regardless of material, but this thing does not look like it gets ground up against weights and dumbbells and barbells very often, but I do use it at the gym, and it does make contact with those metal barbells. So it's really interesting just to see how well this thing holds up to that type of regular everyday use. The Ultrahuman Ring Ear charges pretty standard. I think like a lot of the other ring options out there, there is a proprietary charger that you place the ring on top of. That plugs in via USB-C and you don't really need to charge it very long to get this thing juiced up to 100%. Now, the recommendation is you get into the shower or you're doing something relatively quickly, just drop it on the charger, let it charge 10, 15, 20% at a time. I think it's not recommended to let it go from like 0 to 100 every single time. Again, it's because this is such a small device. The battery in here is very small, and I think it'll probably impact the quality and the health of the battery if you're constantly doing a 0 to 100 every single night and just leaving it on the charger, which would defeat the purpose because this thing primarily is a sleep tracker. So I've been using this regularly, especially like I mentioned, because I'm traveling between time zones, I'm fighting jet lag, I'm trying to stay on top of my sleep schedule so that I can, feel well rested for when I'm working. This thing has been pretty cool. There's a lot of great insights. But of course, the most important piece of this device is the app that accompanies it. I really like this. I mean, like I said, for not having to pay a monthly subscription, I think the data that they provide is great. You get a standard sleep index. It lets you know your heart rate, peaks and valleys while you're sleeping. Gives you information about when you hit your REM cycle. It also has this dynamic recovery score, which I like. It takes into account your heart rate variability, your temperature, and then your rhythmic heart rate to kind of give you this overall dynamic recovery metric. Like I said, for me, someone that's traveling in and out of airports, different time zones, going to the gym, staying up late, all the different things in life, this is actually really nice to give me a gauge of where my body is. But for the dynamic recovery score, we are looking at things like your resting heart rate, skin temperature, your heart rate variability over 7 days, and then it also lets you know my sleep index. And what I actually really like is Ultrahuman is constantly adding new algorithms and new metrics and scores to the app, like their stress rhythm score. And this thing is pretty cool because, again, it's tracking differences in your heart rate. It's tracking whether or not you're stimulated or you're relaxed. It's kind of cool. I mean, I gotta say, for something that doesn't charge you a monthly rate, the type of data and the quality of the data feels comparable to things that you would get from an Apple Watch, or say if you paid a monthly subscription for the Oura Ring. Okay, taking a quick pause here just to say that Ultrahuman is sponsoring this video. No, they don't pay for these opinions, but they are offering 10 of you a special gift with any purchase of the Ultrahuman Ring Air. The first 10 people who make a purchase with my special code get a Blackout eye mask, as well as 6 months of the UHX membership for free. Use that code in the description below. All right, let's get back to the video. Another thing that this thing tracks, like I said, I bring it to the gym, is your movement, right? So yes, it's gonna give you a general idea of calories burned, your steps. It's not gonna be the best at figuring out if you're lifting weights or if you're doing high intensity cardio or other very fitness specific metrics like an Apple Watch, but I know that it's there. I've kind of stopped doing really in-depth tracking of my fitness. It's been a while. I go to the gym, I get my standard workout in, I have a general idea of what the calorie burn is after having done kind of similar routines over the years. So like, I don't need a super detailed breakdown of my 45-minute or 1 hour workout. I'm not an athlete in any sense. I just like to stay fit and active. So this at least gives me enough information to validate whether or not I got a good workout. The other thing that I really like about the app is it does give pretty interesting recommendations, right? So based on your sleep cycle, based on your lifestyle, it's going to give us recommendations on when to consume stimulants like coffee or tea, when we should start tapering off on screen time, when we should be getting into bed, all of the recommendations you need for optimal sleep and recovery. This is something that's actually really important for me, especially with all of this travel between time zones. When I'm moving between different cities and I need to fight jet lag, I used to use an app called Time Shifter, which would do the same. It would tell me if I land in Australia at a certain amount of time, I should be drinking coffee between these hours. I should avoid screen time at this hour, try to take a nap, and then rest between, 6 and 10 p.m., and that'll help me beat jet lag. This thing does something very similar based on real-time data. Even if I'm moving between time zones, it has a good gauge of where I am, when I've slept, and then also, because the app updates in real time, it knows the timing, the date, and all the information it needs, even if I'm in a different country. A few other things that the app does is you can start a workout that's in beta mode. You can also do breath work, so you can do meditation and other things in here. You can log different events throughout the day. Of course, you can do things like track your battery. It's pretty cool. I mean, overall, I really like the product. Ultrahuman also has this thing called Ultrahuman X, which is just an upgraded version. It is a monthly subscription that you can then pay to unlock a host of different features and benefits, much like the charger. So that's probably one of my gripes, is a device this small also has a charger that is very small. It's hard keeping track of it. I've already lost one and I had to ask Ultrahuman to send me a brand new one. Normally you would have to pay, I think, like $35, or if you have the Ultrahuman X subscription, you might get it at a discount or you get it for free. But for the most part, the charger is hard to keep track of for me, but I mean, it's whatever. It happens with any small device. So finally, I would say, having used this for a couple months, if you are someone like me who does not like to wear a fitness tracker or a smartwatch, I think this is a great option. I get the sleep tracking I want. I get most of the data, probably even more than I need for my particular lifestyle, but I have it there. And it's nice because this thing is so inconspicuous. I wear it just as a part of my everyday. It kind of fits in with my standard aesthetic and the other types of jewelry that I wear, my watches, my bracelets, other rings. Overall, I think it does a great job. It is wildly lightweight. For something that looks this thick and metallic, you would expect it to be a little bit heavier, but it's really lightweight, really comfortable to wear. It's very, very easy to sleep in. This is the biggest thing for me. I don't sleep with watches on. I don't sleep with Whoop bands on, or any type of tracker that feels like it's just gonna get in the way of a comfortable night's sleep. This thing has not, and it's been great. Battery life is fantastic. You don't have to charge it very often. So that's another big thing that I think about a lot when I'm traveling. I don't really have to worry about this thing running out of batteries because it does not take a lot to power this, and charging it only takes about 5 to 10 minutes to really get it all the way back up. And because this thing is so small, there's no screens, there's no notifications, there's no haptics on this. All of the recommendations, the nudges, the information, it gets pushed to your phone, which is totally fine. I actually like having my phone as the centralized place for all notifications. I can choose when I want it to interrupt my day or when I want to check it, versus having an Apple Watch or some type of wearable that's constantly like dinging and vibrating and showing me information. It's just not how I like to live life these days. I don't need the information or the notifications that badly. For some of you out there, if it's a different scenario, I would go for something with a screen, but I try to have as little digital interruptions as possible, especially when I'm traveling, hanging out with the family. Just overall, everyday life, I spend all of my time working and kind of living online. So when I can, I don't want screens or notifications or pings around me. And that's why I really like this. All right, that is it for this video. If you like the Ultrahuman Ring Air, check it out. I'll leave a link in the description below. Hit that like button, subscribe for more videos just like this. I will catch y'all in the next one.